Hi friends, good morning. Happy Monday. I'm exhausted, but I'm also grateful. And I might be a little bit raw, but I'm still showing up. And that's kind of what I wanted to talk to you about today. We often forget that showing up doesn't have to look perfect, right? And it just needs to be real, right? And so I want to invite you to come get ready with me really quick and learn how I personally reset when my life feels like it's chaos, when it feels heavy, and learn maybe some of the tools that I personally use to ground myself on those hard days. And honestly, it's not woo-woo, okay? It actually is psychology backed, what I'm going to be teaching you. FYI, if you don't know, I actually went to school for psychology and I nearly have my bachelor's degree in psychology, literally 2 classes away. Okay, so these are like real science backed stuff that has truly helped me to really rewire my brain over the years and build confidence and self-trust and reset. Okay, so if you're here, drop me hearts. Please give this video a share because there is somebody out there that needs these tools that don't know these tools or don't necessarily know why they work. Or maybe they are stuck in that state of limbo, that state of stuck. Okay, so please share this. Please tag your friends in this, okay? So as I get ready, we're going to talk about this. Now, I have absolutely been juggling all of the feelings lately. We're talking, the exhaustion from motherhood. We're talking watching my oldest, hit all of his milestones being a senior. We're talking about the sports moms nights, the, what's for dinner for the 50,000th time. All of that, right? We're talking about the hard stuff because let's face it, as women, as moms, when we get overwhelmed, we either shut down or, we continue running, and we don't necessarily deal with what's happening, and we don't necessarily always tend to ourselves in the way that we wish we could, right? So some days, do I want to hide and not show up? Yes, absolutely. And if you feel me there with that, please drop me a 1 in the comments so that I am not alone, because we need to be showing up and teaching our friends and being there for our friends to know that they're not alone. And you count as one of my friends, okay? So I have learned that showing up when you don't necessarily want to, or showing up scared, is actually something that helps you to build confidence. Did you know that or not? I didn't personally know that. All of the years that I was actually doing all of this self-growth, I had no idea that I was actually, advancing myself in a way that was beyond just business when I was, starting in this industry. And honestly, I will tell you, the motivation's never always going to be there, okay? Who is always motivated to go to the gym? I guarantee you not every single person, none of you guys are going to raise your hands if I ask you if you are motivated to go to the gym every single day, okay? Because it's the truth. Motivation is not what builds confidence, okay? It's not. What builds confidence is showing up in the hard. It's showing up in the consistency. It's showing up when you don't want to even get out of bed. That is where that confidence lies. Okay, so if you have ever struggled with confidence, can you drop me a 2? Because I'm dropping 2s all over this place. I feel like every single woman on this earth, on this planet, has struggled with confidence. Okay, and if you haven't, what are your secrets? But really, for real, right? Everybody has struggled with confidence. And every time we show up scared and we show up raw and we show up real and vulnerable and all of those things, okay, we actually are rewiring our brains to learn to trust ourselves, okay? Let's throw on some concealer really quick while we keep chatting. Okay, so my story. I I have struggled a lot with this, okay? And honestly, every time that I would have something like this happen or feel like too messy or whatever the case may be, I would honestly want to just go run and hide, okay? And I would wait until I felt ready. If you have ever thought about that and just like waiting until like, drop me hearts, okay? Drop me hearts. If you have ever just like had that moment of, I'm not ready, so I'm waiting. Because I feel like so many of us do, and it's honestly one of the biggest things that we rob ourselves of, because there's an opportunity for growth in that, okay? One day I started to just do simple things. I started to just wash my face. I started to get dressed. I started to, brush my hair every day. I started to put on a little bit of makeup, and those tiny little minuscule actions, those count, okay? And the reason why they count is because it's building that self-trust, okay? So when you are scared and you show up anyway and you do it and nothing bad happens afterwards, you have built trust within yourself. And when you build that trust within yourself, that's where the confidence grows, okay? So let me get a little bit scientific for you really quick, okay? Because like I said, I still have hard days. I still struggle all the time, okay? I am not perfect. I am so far from perfect. But even on those hard days, like this last week, for example, has been a freaking train wreck, okay? I have been emotionally a train wreck for the last week, watching my oldest hit all of these milestones. It's been rough, okay? But instead of spiraling, I actually reach for some of my tools in my toolkit, for example. Okay, so I'm going to teach you a little bit about this, because this is not just mindset shifting. This is actual science, okay? It's taking an action, like putting on skincare, like brushing your teeth, like brushing your hair, like getting dressed, okay? Those little tiny acts of motivation, they actually release dopamine in your brain, okay? And dopamine is the reward chemical, okay? So this is actually behavioral activation, which is a proven therapy for anxiety and depression, okay? So no, it's not just makeup that I put on my skin. You know what I mean? It's not just skincare that I put on at nighttime, okay? It is truly the action of it, okay? And that is where confidence grows, because that action then rewires that brain, builds the evidence that you need to prove that you can trust yourself and show up confidently. And that's what builds that confidence, okay? So I have personally been teaching my boys all of this over the last couple of years since I learned this. And it was about 7 years ago when I learned this. But I had been teaching all of my kids these tools, okay? And I'm teaching them to grab one of their tools when they feel overwhelmed, when they feel angry, when they feel sad, when they feel overwhelmed, whatever the case may be, whatever feeling that they're feeling that is, consuming them and they can't ground themselves. These are the tools that I'm teaching them, We actually have a little chart on our fridge that has a bunch of these tools that they can go and pick one, and it has little pictures. So Rebel, because he can't read all the way yet, but it has little pictures, and they just go and pick one when they are feeling that way. So every time my kids panic, freak out, or having a meltdown, we do this a lot with Rebel. I'm like, what's your tools? What tool are you going to use right now? We need to use a tool. Pick a tool, and a lot of the time he's young enough, because he is only 6, that it's hard for him to pick one. And so sometimes we as adults have to help our kids that way. So honestly, adults need tools too, okay? So if you don't have tools in your toolkit to get you through those overwhelming days, okay, let this video be your toolkit, okay? And comment reset, and I'll send you some extra little tools that I personally use every single day. It's the message in the action. Again, it's not necessarily the Tinted moisturizer that I put on my skin. Is it amazing? Yes. Is it incredible? Yes. Okay. Does it make me feel alive? Yes. Does it hydrate my skin? Yes. All of those things. But it's not that. It's the action. It's the action of putting it on, because you are worth 5 minutes, and it takes that mindset and it flips it. And so no, this might not fix your whole day, and it might not fix your whole life, but it's going to have that instant mood boost, that instant gratification, that instant dopamine release to get that reward, okay? And honestly, all we're looking for right now, if we're trying to be in the moment, we're trying to ground ourselves, okay? So that second matters, okay? That second of reward that you feel when you put on your skincare, when you put on your makeup, that right there is what we're going for. Those are the things that count. All of those small wins count, okay? So sometimes my tools might be prayer. Sometimes my tools might be putting on skincare. Sometimes my tools are showing up here live and putting makeup on, okay? Sometimes my tools are playing loud music. Sometimes it's dancing in the kitchen with headphones on. Sometimes it's sitting in my car in silence for 2 minutes before I walk into the house of chaos, okay? These are small wins, but they all count. So when life feels heavy, or if life feels heavy, I see you right now, because I am right there in the messy middle of it all with you too, okay? Do not, my friends, do not wait for motivation, okay? Do not wait to be ready. Choose a small action, putting on a lip balm, putting on a lip color, putting on some mascara, brushing your hair, getting dressed, brushing your teeth, making yourself lunch. Go buy yourself a coffee. Those little tiny wins, they actually are teaching your brain that it can do hard things. So that in those hard seasons of life, you have already have the evidence, because you've proved it before to your brain, that you were able to show up in the hard and through the hard, and you made it out on top. That's where confidence is built. Confidence is not built in a fancy new car. Confidence is not built in a brand new makeup palette. It is the action. It's the action of applying it. Okay? It's the action of grounding yourself. It's the action of trusting yourself and proving to yourself that not only are you worth that 5 minutes to get ready, but you also can do hard things. You can show up in the hard, okay? So, I see you. Confidence is built in the messy middle of chaos, okay? Now, I'm going to look at my notes really quick, because I want to make sure I didn't go over or miss anything, because I literally, this is something that I love teaching on. I have taught an entire mindset masterclass before, and it was incredible. It was impactful. And I just wanted you to know that this is your reminder today, okay? Confidence isn't built in the perfect, and confidence isn't built when you show up good. Confidence is built in the messy. Confidence is built in the hard. Confidence is built when you think it's impossible to show up, but you show up anyway. That is where confidence is built, because you showed up anyway. That's the key, okay? You are worth showing up for, whether you are a mama or not. I know most of my friends on here are mamas, because I was going to say mama, but you are worth showing up for yourself for 5 minutes, okay? So if you want my 5-minute routine, maybe some extra tools, because I do have a lot of extra tools that I have put together for you guys. And if you want to learn those extra tools that I have that I had maybe didn't mention on this, that I personally use very often, comment reset, and I will DM you them. And if you need a color match for this skin tint that I used today, comment tint. I love you, friends. And thanks for showing up for me today and with me. Because even if you're tired, and even if you're raw, and even if you're messy, that's okay. because that's where growth starts, and that's where you build your confidence, my friend. So tag your friends in this video who need to hear this, who need these tools. Share this video out, because there is a mama out there or a woman out there who needs to learn the reason why these simple, small, tiny actions in the hard, why they matter. Inspire her to show up today. Inspire her to build her confidence today. Okay? I love you. Bye, friends.